Being a woman is extremely complicated. Women have to deal with issues that men will never have to deal with. As a man, it's important to understand the 5 uncomfortable truths that women have to deal with.
I don't believe that promiscuity is natural to women. And I feel like so many of them are miserable hopping in and out of bed with people. They're doing what they think they should do based on society in 2022, but they're deeply unhappy. Just address that for me a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, this is so true. It's such an interesting topic because growing up, and not enough people come to this, talk about this from this perspective. But growing up, when I was like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, all the girls were rushing to lose their virginity. They were rushing. And there was a competition, like who slept with the most guys, you know? And you'd be valued more within the female group if you'd slept with more guys. Looking back, it's disgusting and it's sad. And I just think women are in such a rush to grow up. I don't know, it's the media, it's whatever society's telling us. And I think it's really sad. And none of these girls, by the way, are enjoying the sex that they're having at 19, 20, 21. They're not enjoying it. Why? Because they're sleeping with idiots. They're just sleeping with men for the sake of sleeping with men. They're just fucking any guy they meet in a club. It's disgusting. And the reason they're not enjoying it is because they can't, because they're not built that way. You can't enjoy sex with a random man. You can't enjoy sex. He might be so gorgeous. He might be, objectively speaking, the sexiest man you've ever seen. You're just not going to enjoy having sex with him because there's no emotional connection. And nobody talks about this. The girls are just rushing to sleep with as many men as possible, saying, oh yeah, it was amazing. It was, and I'm like, really? Like I was speaking to my other friends. I'm like, really? Is she telling the truth? Like, and nobody talks about that. It's not until you actually have an emotional connection with somebody that you can, as a woman, enjoy having sex. And so if you're sleeping with all these men and you haven't stopped because you realize like this isn't working and you continue to do that, there's a problem with you. Like how can you distance yourself from that type of physical act? It means you're damaged emotionally, in my opinion.
As seen in the video, most women will not enjoy casual sex. A lot of the women will lie to each other just to maintain this state that casual sex is the most amazing thing you can do. But even it's supported by research, most people that are in a relationship have more sex than people that are not. And casual sex is usually not good quality sex. So why people are doing it? Because if it is so bad, why people are doing it? First of all, people do it because it provides some type of validation of their value. If they can obtain casual sex, it means that they are great women. Secondly, men will give you attention in order to have casual sex. And thirdly, the woman will feel that she can get any man she wants. So as soon as she sets her eyes on a man, she will be able to get that man. It gives the impression of the woman that she can decide whoever she wants to date, whoever she wants to be in a relationship, when basically short-term encounters are different than long-term relationship.
Everyone I knew in my life who was comfortable doing that, all the women that were comfortable with the bed hopping and the promiscuity, they were numb in some way. They were either numb from alcohol or drugs or troubled, or they had something in their past, or something was wrong with them because it isn't natural, and none of them were happy. Not one of them, even the ones who would say out loud, like, oh, this is comfortable for me, I don't care. It was very clear to me that then they had to drown themselves in alcohol or antidepressants or something to actually get themselves to a point where they were okay with something that they really weren't okay with at all.
Another point that is interesting to notice, most women that go and have casual relationships usually are in some type of intoxicated state, either alcohol or drugs. By default, the brain will not enjoy casual sex with a stranger. So the best way to overcome the brain is to use some type of drugs or alcohol. Now let's look at the science. As you can see here, the higher the number of sexual partners they have, the less marital satisfaction they will have in their marriage, unfortunately. And similarly, the higher the number of sexual partners, the higher the divorce rate will be. 2. People are not honest with women. First of all, men will always tell them lies. Lies because they want to sleep with them. Lies because they want to manipulate them. So men will constantly be lying to women, even if they are friends or even if they are partners or boyfriend, whatever the situation. A lot of men will lie in order to obtain something out of the woman. And that can be explained for different reasons. The truth hurts. And usually, most women will not be able to deal with the truth. If you tell a woman that this man is with her only for sex, usually she will not accept it. She will not like it. It is also interesting to notice that in history, men and women relationship used to be different. So men had to be upfront with the woman. It was not allowed for a man to lie to a woman in order to have sex. The only way to obtain sexual access back in the day was to marry the woman. So you would ask the parents if you could marry their daughter, and then you would marry the daughter, and at that point you will have sexual access. So the type of lies and the number of lies would be way different back then. Another point that is critical, according to the Wall Street Journal, 1 in 5 women between the age of 40 and 59 are on antidepressant, and 1 in 4 above 60 are on antidepressant. Women are the highest consumers of antidepressant in the world. All of the research that I'm mentioning here will be linked in the video below. According to Psychology Today, the unhappiest employee in the United States is a woman that is 42, unmarried, without kids. And that is in a professional position, for example, lawyer or doctor. So these women will make a lot of money, they will have all they want, however, they will be extremely unhappy. So if these women that have achieved in terms of their career and their jobs are unhappy, you have to question why the society are lying to women, telling them that the most important thing they can do is to have a career. So as soon as they are in school, as soon as they go in the corporation world, we are telling women that the most important thing that they can achieve, and that will bring them fulfillment in their life, happiness in their life, is to have a career, a great career. But I can tell you from what I've seen around me and what I've seen in studies, that's not the case. That's not what makes people happy. That's not the most important component of happiness or fulfillment. And it's very sad to see that women lie to other women. So for example, the older women, the one that have bought into the corporation world that the career is the most important thing, they lie to the younger generation for various reasons. But a lot of them is because they don't want to acknowledge that what they have done is not correct. They have missed the boat. They've missed some opportunity to live a more fulfilled life, unfortunately. And these women that have done the corporation world without kids, without husbands, strong independent women, and that are now in their 40s, 45, 50s, they could tell the younger generation, I've done it. I've been there, I've worked my ass off in the corporation world for that specific company, but I don't feel that happy. I live with my cat, but without anyone with me. I can't share my money with anyone. So all of the money that I've accumulated, for me, is great, but so one more or one less bag is not going to make a difference. And I think women have to be honest with other women. The women that have done it, that are unhappy and are on antidepressant, are not honest with the younger generation, unfortunately. And I found it very sad. The third uncomfortable truth is that women and men are different. Unfortunately, there are much more pressure on women to make decisions early in their life. Not pressure coming from the society, but these are biological pressures. After 35, the risk of complications in pregnancy is higher for the baby and higher for the mother. So women have to have baby quite early compared to men. And this is putting pressure for them to find the right partner much earlier in life. And of course, this is not fair because women have to make decisions way earlier than men. So if they want to find the right type of partner, they probably need to find the partner between the age of 25 to 35. And that is putting a lot of pressure on their shoulder, obviously. But men and women are different. Women will have pressure to get married early, but at the same time, earlier in their lives, they will have the advantage over men. It will be much easier for a young woman to get married to high-value men. However, for a man, in their young years, it will be very complicated for them to find a very attractive woman, a very high quality woman. They will usually have to build up their skills, their competence, in order to find the right type of woman after in their life. The fourth uncomfortable truth is that women have to compete in order to gain a high value man. High value men are outnumbered by high value women, unfortunately. So in terms of the competition for high value individuals, there are much more competition on the women's side. At the end of the day, women cannot consider themselves as the prize. Of course, women will have their criteria and their demands when it comes to relationship or attribute that they will need in an ideal partner. It's not as simple as listing all the qualities that they want. Some of the qualities will have to be optional. It's very complicated to have all the box ticked. That's the reality of the matter. And some women will not compromise on certain things. When you want 6 foot, 6 figure, 6-pack men, that's going to be very, very unlikely to find. Except if you're like a 0.0001 type of woman, otherwise it's going to be very complicated to find. Another issue that we rarely talk about is having a career, having a high value job leads to creation of more masculine traits. In order to have a successful career, women will have to develop certain type of masculine traits. So for example, being leaders, for example, being disagreeable. All of these qualities are amazing in the corporation world. If you believe that the man is the leader in the house, if they trust their men to take the right decision, then there is no reason for them to be the leader. And the fifth uncomfortable truth is that women will have to take risks in order to live fulfilled lives. There's a quote I want to mention. Women who married between 22 and 30 without first living together have some of the lowest rates of divorce in the US government's National Survey of Family Growth. In order to have successful marriage and relationship, it's very likely that women will have to take some risk. Unfortunately, a lot of women don't trust men. So they don't trust men to be providers or leaders in their house. They don't trust men to be competent men. So as a result, they will work really hard in their jobs in order to secure a salary. And then after working on their career and themselves and securing the financial aspect, at this point they will be looking for a man in their 30s. However, most of the good quality men will be looking for women in their 20s. So there's a mismatch, and obviously the women that have high degree and also that will have high education in their 30s will be in direct competition with women that are in their 20s. And some of them in their 20s do not even have a high education, but they will be in competition because they are more physically attractive, for example, or maybe they will be more feminine, more friendly, or more fit. So all of these qualities that men are looking for. So unfortunately, a lot of women in their 30s, late 30s and early 40s become resentful because they can't find the man of their dream. So ideally, women will want to find a man as early as possible, and this is why men and women are different, and women will have to prioritize finding a partner earlier in their life. Usually during the years that we call the party years or the whole phase. Instead of prioritizing party years, maybe it's a good idea for them to prioritize finding a husband. So in conclusion, lives of women are very complicated. Way too many people lie to them. Whether they are men lying to them, women lying to them, the society lying to them, too many people lie to them. And obviously this is confusing. And this is why women have to listen to the right type of people. The people that really want them to be fulfilled in their lives. If they do not believe, you need to look at what happened to the older generation. The women that have lived the Sex in the City lifestyle, high paying jobs, big careers, no husband, no child, are they happy? Are they fulfilled in their lives? That's important to acknowledge the experience of other people in order for you to create your own experience. Another part that is critical, women, they cannot have it all at the same time. They can have it all, but not at the same time. It's impossible for them to have an amazing, fulfilled careers, at the same time have an amazing, fulfilled family. There's one story my friend mentioned, and I found it quite fascinating. It's the story that this woman decided to get married in her mid-20s. So she stopped studying and she decided to get married. She had 2 kids before 28. She started raising her kids, and now in her early 30s, she resumed studying and finished her PhD in medicine, and now she's becoming a doctor. And I find it quite fascinating because she managed to raise kids, spend some time with her kids, and at the same time, now she's going to work more on the career side. And I found her approach to life very smart because she's securing what is the most important: husband and family and kids, and then career comes after. And if she wants to have a successful career, she has another 40 years to be successful in her career. Women will only be able to follow a leader. So if you want to understand how to be a good leader as a man, I recommend you to watch this video.